What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about week 14 waiver wire ads. Whether you have players that play on the Carolina Panthers, Patriots, Giants, or 49ers, you're probably going to need some bye week fill-in replacements, whether that's a tight end, quarterback, you name it. But regardless, I'm going to step in and I'm going to take over and I'm going to give you must-add players this week on the waiver wire. We need to be making sure that we grab the best players. We need to lock ourselves a great playoff position. So I won't waste your time any further. Let's go right ahead and roll the intro. First and foremost, we talked about this player last week on the waiver wire video, whether you watched that video or not. If you didn't, definitely go check that out for a more in-depth analysis of Brenton Strange, tight end of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brenton Strange was bailed out by the touchdown last week against the Tennessee Titans, but nevertheless, Brenton Strange, since entering the lineup for the Jacksonville Jaguars, again, whether it's with Brian Thomas Jr., without Brian Thomas Jr., Brenton Strange is one of the top target and pass catchers in this Jacksonville Jaguars offense. And if we're going to project games in the future that they're going to be trailing from behind, maybe for an example, like against the Indianapolis Colts or the Denver Broncos, this would be great opportunities in the near future to go ahead and add Brenton Strange, but also play him if you need a tight end. Looking at his numbers in half PPR and full PPR formats, he's cracked double digits in both games that he's been back in the lineup for. If you're looking for a tight end that's going to put up double-digit points with consistency and ease, that's what we really want off the waiver wire. Definitely go grab Brenton Strange, and let's talk about the next player. I don't know if you're seeing the pattern, but this next player that's also from last week's video, Jayden Higgins, wide receiver of the Houston Texans, puts up another solid performance, even though he's not the top target getter. He's not behind, he's not ahead of Nico Collins, he's not ahead of Dalton Schultz, but he still gets his at the end of the day. And whether it's CJ Stroud under center or Davis Mills, Jayden Higgins looks like a legit part of this Houston Texans offense, a team that's getting hot at the right time, finally putting together a run to maybe potentially go to the playoffs. They're going to be relying on Jayden Higgins to get the receiving production done for them. Not to say that Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz will find themselves out of fantasy lineups or anything, but Jayden Higgins must be added if you do not have him or if he's available in your leagues, because he's consistently just getting the job done week after week. Next, I want to talk about Chris Rodriguez, running back of the Washington Commanders. Scored a touchdown in Sunday night's game. Looked like he was the starting running back. I do warn you, if you do add him and play him, that this still feels like a backfield by committee and also a backfield dependent on Marcus Mariota to get them in the end zone. There's not enough volume, receptions, carries for this to be a great fantasy play week in and week out. But as long as he's getting the touchdown, that makes him playable in fantasy. He will be touchdown or bust for the foreseeable future unless Jaden Daniels comes back. Let's stay within the running back position. We're going to talk about next Blake Corum of the LA Rams, who had a phenomenal day against the Carolina Panthers. Maybe not a player that we can put in our lineups tomorrow and set him as our starting running back, but definitely a great stash. I'm sure many of you who own Kyren Williams already in fantasy have this player added and stashed, which is a great job. If not, if you see Blake Corum available, definitely add him, because while he may not be the starter today, if things go south and they start to give Blake Corum more opportunities in this offense, we know that this is a high-scoring offense. The ball moves down the field in the LA Rams offense. This could potentially be a great playoff asset, or maybe somebody that you can start. Last week, he had 81 yards and a touchdown. We probably can't expect those numbers to repeat unless he takes over as the full-time back. So Blake Corum, great ad, definitely stash him. We're probably not ready to start him yet. Finally, our last player on this list, I want to talk about Isaac TeSlaa. Now, if you play in a 10-man, 12-man league, you're probably not interested in adding Isaac TeSlaa. But one thing I do know about Isaac TeSlaa is this kid is a dog at the wide receiver position. Isaac TeSlaa was somebody that the Lions traded up to draft, so this is a kid that they believe has a lot of talent that maybe the rest of the league did not see or did not want to believe in. I could see him taking over in the slot role because they don't have Tim Patrick anymore. Amon-Ra St. Brown could be week to week, and if Amon-Ra St. Brown misses any time going forward, that would make Isaac TeSlaa maybe a low-end flex play, but still somebody that we need to be adding and at least stashing in our fantasy football leagues. Isaac TeSlaa will probably not be a long-term play, somebody that you can play in week 15, 16 when we're going on a playoff run, but maybe you need a spot start in a deeper league. I would look to play Isaac TeSlaa. And before I sign off on this video, I know that there's quarterbacks that we need to be replacing this week. If you're in a 14-man league, 12-man league, maybe Brock Purdy, Jackson Dart, Drake May, obviously, he's a GOAT. These quarterbacks are probably main staples on your fantasy lineups, so we're going to need to find some kind of replacements for it. And allow me to step in and give my favorite picks for Week 14 just to keep the ship afloat for one more week. If you need a fantasy playoff win next week, you're in a win-and-in scenario, you cannot afford to lose. Let's add these quarterbacks and start them if you're in need of a starting QB. First, I like Tua against the Jets. Obviously, weather is going to play a factor. It's going to be a cold game at MetLife Stadium, but nonetheless, this should be a great opportunity to play Tua. The Dolphins are on a roll. They're starting to gain confidence within themselves. This could be potentially a quality Tua Tagovailoa outing, and if you have a quarterback on a bye week this week, your options probably aren't looking that good. There aren't a lot of great quarterback matchups, but if you're going up against the Jets, I would like to believe that is worth starting in and of itself. I know Kirk Cousins looked kind of shaky against them. I understand that. They did play at MetLife Stadium. This game will also be at MetLife Stadium. Tua in cold weather does concern me, but nonetheless, the Dolphins need to win, keep their playoff hopes alive, whether you think they're going to make it or not. I like Tua Tagovailoa in this spot, but let's move on to the next quarterback. Next, I want to talk Tyler Shaw, who's going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a divisional matchup. I don't expect the New Orleans Saints to win this game, but one thing I do know is that last week I told you to play Jacoby Brissett because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense gives up a ton of fantasy points to the quarterback position, and even though he started the game with an interception and it looked rough, he bounced back and made it a quality outing. Yet again, Jacoby Brissett is a walking 20, but maybe Tyler Shaw won't be a walking 20 on Sunday, but this could be potentially a quarterback that you want to play in this game. I understand there's always the potential that Taysom Hill is going to steal your passing touchdown, whether he runs it or throws it. I believe that Tyler Shaw against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is a quality start if you're in need of a quarterback. And if you weren't able to get either one of those quarterbacks, if you're feeling frisky and you need a quarterback start, look no further than throwing your watch up because it's perfect timing. Shedeur Sanders against the Tennessee Titans. Like I stated before, there aren't many quality quarterback starts that we can play this week. I don't love a lot of these matchups. Obviously, we don't get Jackson Dart. We don't have Bryce Young as a, fill-in guy that we can trust. Maybe you could go ahead and play Trevor Lawrence. I don't know if I would expect another great game from him 2 weeks in a row. I think it's more of it was a quality of playing against the Tennessee Titans. And oh, guess what? The Cleveland Browns are going to play against the Tennessee Titans this week. How convenient. That's going to wrap it up for our Week 14 waiver wire video. I gave you guys 5 players that we should be adding in fantasy. I get that some were repeats, but I'm sure not a lot of you added these players after I told you to add these players last week. So this is reassurance and a reminder. When you see players that I list in the videos of must-add waiver wire players, go pick them up. Don't be silly. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, you like fantasy football content, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. What are you doing? If you just came across my channel for the first time and you made it all the way through this video, it would be perfect timing to subscribe. All right, last one. I'm sorry. And if you're already subscribed to the channel, Outlier Militia, I see you out there. Thank you guys for watching another video. I truly appreciate it. Smash that like button so I know to keep making more fantasy football content just like this video. And that's all I got for you guys today. My name is Turtle. This is Outlier Fantasy. And I will see you in the next video. Wow, you stuck to the end of this video? Thank you so much. If you're new here, make sure you check out one of these videos on the screen right now. And don't forget, before you leave, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any fantasy football videos on this channel. That's all I got for you guys. I'll see you in the next one.